Hey, this is Moritz, and today I want to shoot a quick video about the correlation between hard work on the one hand and the success that you get for it on the other hand. Now, I am like most people who try to accomplish goals in their life, who want to be successful in certain areas in their life. Uh, I believe in the value of hard work. I believe that there's no way around working very hard in order to be successful. And really everybody who is into self-development or who has certain goals uh, kind of shares that attitude, I think. Everybody loves to hear these success stories too, about people who, before they became successful, had to really pay their dues. They really had to work, rise and grind. They had to work very hard for a very long time in order to become successful. They had to fail. They had to go through all these hard times, and eventually came out stronger in the end. Now, this is really what all our successful role models tell us. All the people out there who are successful constantly keep emphasizing the value of hard work. For example, if you go on YouTube, there's a very popular video about Will Smith where he constantly talks about how he's not particularly talented, but how he's very disciplined when it comes to hard work and really grinding day in and day out. And this is where he sees where his value comes from, and what makes him successful above others. So we got all these people constantly telling us that they had to work very hard in order to get where they are, and that their hard work is the reason why they ended up being successful. And obviously, you take a look at these people and they are successful. And it is a very convincing argument they're making, that there's a very direct correlation between your work that you put in and the success that comes out at the end. But I actually got some new ideas on that matter by a book that I'm reading right now, a very popular book, and I admit that I'm a little behind on reading it. It came out a couple of years ago already. It's The Black Swan by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. So this guy, he's a trader, he's a philosopher in the broadest sense. He's also a statistician. And he actually offers a very unique and very different point of view on that topic of being successful and becoming successful. He says that yes, we do look at all these successful people out there, maybe in sports or maybe in business or in show business or whatever, and all of them worked very hard to get where they are now. So we immediately make that connection in our mind that in order to become successful, you have to work very hard, which is a correct statement, but we kind of mix it up a little in our heads, and what actually becomes the statement in our head is that we think that working very hard immediately and almost guaranteed eventually leads to becoming successful. And this is not true at all. And I hope you see the distinction I'm making here. It's very different whether you say that everybody who is successful had to work very hard in order to get there, which is true, or if you say that everybody who works very hard eventually becomes successful, which is not true at all. And these people are actually the majority out there. The people who try to accomplish something, they work very hard, they do just as much or even more than the people who end up becoming successful, but these people don't. So, because they don't become successful, we never hear about them, obviously. They're not famous, they're not on television, they don't write books about how they not became successful. So, these people are just not registered in our mind. The only people who are registered in our mind are the people who became successful, because these are the people that we constantly hear about and that we hear from. And these are the people who talk about how they became successful. Taleb, in his book The Black Swan, makes one example where he says that a couple of years ago he actually made that same mistake, even though he's aware of it and he even writes books about these effects. He also fell victim to that bias or that fallacy. He said that he wanted to become a little bit more ripped. He wanted to work out, so he saw all these swimmers during the Olympics, and he thought, okay, swimming seems to be a sport that gives you like this nice shaped torso, and you got like the swimmer's V. You got these muscular arms and back and awesome abs. So I started swimming, and obviously it didn't lead to the same results. He did not end up looking like one of these swimmers. Now, what he's trying to say with that example in his book is that 100% of the swimmers who end up swimming at the Olympic teams, for example, they are very well in shape and of course very muscular, and they just got the right physique to be a swimmer. But not everyone who trains as much as these swimmers did are gonna end up looking like them and is gonna end up being as successful as a swimmer as they are. So the people that we see at the end, the people that are successful, they already had a huge genetic advantage. That's why they became these successful swimmers. It's not only because they worked very hard. They also had to do that, but that is not the only reason why they became so successful. It's because they were lucky in the genetic lottery in the first place. So that's basically the same in any kind of sports or any kind of success story. There are people who just have a lot more genetic advantage or talent in a certain area. Then they also have to work very hard to build that skill and not only rely on their talent. And then on top of that, they also gotta get very lucky. So it is not the case that you can say, okay, I'm gonna work very hard on developing a particular skill, and if I just do that long enough, I'm gonna become successful, because you only focus on the people for who that idea worked, and you forget all the majority of people who did the same, who also worked very hard and maybe even had talent too, but still failed because they just didn't have the luck. It's really the same in any kind of business that you can imagine and that people become famous and successful and rich in. For example, if you think of actors and actresses, of course you gotta have a certain talent. Then you gotta also work hard, and still that is not a guarantee that you're gonna be the next Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt or whoever, because these people also got very lucky, and a lot of times they don't even realize that. People are so self-focused that they always attribute their success and their failure to certain things that they did or did not do in their lives, when in fact a lot of it is just pure luck, and that's all there is to it. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you ask Leonardo DiCaprio, he's gonna have a lot of reasons why he became the successful actor that he is nowadays. And of course that attributed to what he's become. I mean, all the hard work and the training of his skills and going to auditions and so on and so forth. But I am also very sure that there are a lot of actors out there who just did what he did and they didn't make it anyway. They never amounted to any success in their profession, in their acting career. And the only thing that separates those two is just pure luck. That's it. So this can be a little bit frustrating if you think about it, obviously. You work that hard and you think that you're really making a difference when in fact a lot of your success just relies on pure luck, and it's not really up to you. You have to be discovered, you have to have people who recommend you to others. You just have to get that just luck that brings the breakthrough for you. And this is obviously a kind of depressing way to think about things, but it's also reality. And still, of course, working very hard can greatly improve your chances to make it and to be successful in any kind of area. And it's definitely something that you cannot neglect. You have to have that work ethic first and then hope that you also get lucky. So this is actually something that I want to talk about a little bit more. So I'm gonna make a second video about what you need other than hard work in order to be successful. But for this time, I'm just gonna keep it with that and hope that it doesn't discourage you to go for your dreams and to keep moving forward and try to improve yourself. Talk to you next time.